never very secure in myself, sort of, when I was learning to play. And I suppose to this day I'm still not, you know what I mean? So I never actually trusted that I was guitarist material, even though, like, people were telling me I was, you know? And so I was unemployed, and there was a job in the local paper looking for a guitar player in a cover band, and I went to it not thinking I would get it, and I did, and that's kind of where I started. It was more I never trusted myself to think that I could actually do it, rather than feeling like I want to do it or anything like that, you know what I mean? It's that when I actually started earning a few bob from it, I started to go, oh, well, I actually can do this. Oh yeah, no, jazz would be I suppose it does all come from jazz. I mean, I do love jazz. Jazz was what kind of spoke to me when I was learning to play. It was the one kind of music that stopped me in my tracks when I heard it, do you know what I mean? Do you know? But other musics continue to do that, but jazz was the first one, and I think that the music that gets there first is the one that sort of stays ingrained in you, if that makes sense, you know. That, you know, there are certain things you can learn from delving into a style that you can't learn any other way, you know what I mean? There's, like, for example, one of the things I learned from rock playing was just how definite sometimes you have to be. That you don't have to be that definite with jazz in the picking, you know what I mean? Now, that's not exactly true, but how can I put it? It was rock that taught me definition rather than jazz. Even though it's very important to be definite in jazz, it was something I overlooked when I was doing jazz. And then when I got into rock, I realized that you know what I mean, that was a failing in my playing, my lack of definition, you know what I mean? So that caused me to focus on that, if that makes sense, you know? And then when you come back to playing jazz, you play it with more definition now, and my jazz is better as a result. Do you know, sort of way? And there's loads of examples like that, you know? Yeah, I suppose I do follow the chords, you know? As the chords change, I change, you know? And that seems to be... But I also try to sort of... The melody of the song is the kind of glue that holds it all together. They'd be the chords, right? So, that'd be the first chord. That'd be the second chord. That'd be the third chord. That'd be the fourth. Right, so that would be, they'd be the chords, right? So I kind of follow those and try and get in the melody. You know what I mean? And that when you mix it together kind of goes like... If that makes sense. Sort of something like that, you know what I mean? Where you try and sort of suggest a melody through taking a ramble through the chords, you know what I mean? And that's kind of the way I think about it, you know? I'm glad I have this guitar, because this actually allows me to dial in sort of the more rocky pop kind of area of things, you know what I mean? Like so, you know what I mean? So instead of like let's say if we were doing, you know, Wichita Lineman or something, you know? So, I mean, and now I can sort of do this one, you know, I mean, which has a sort of a country Glen Campbell-y kind of thing going on, you know what I mean? It's an Ibanez, it's an Ibanez Artcore. It's a semi-solid, has a big block of wood in here, which means that it can go loud. You can sort of play it on rock and roll gigs, do you know what I mean? You can play it in loud setups. So this is my sort of small setup, you know what I mean? And I do this a lot. I live beside public transport. I live near the Lewis. So I can actually throw this on my back, throw all the stuff, and this is the Air Compact 60. I can carry that, and I can walk down to the Lewis. I can get on the Lewis. I can get into town, and I can go do a gig. Now, obviously, with bigger rock and roll gigs, I can't do that. But that's the kind of setup I have, and I like that. You know what I mean? Sort of everybody's using them. It's the Joyo American sound. This amp is an acoustic amp. So this thing kind of turns it into a sort of more of a valve kind of an amp. I mean, I'll give you the difference. You can sort of judge it for yourself. This is with it off. I'll try and play the exact same thing. Right. Gives it a bit more sort of grit or something, do you know what I mean? Which I like, you know. You know, and it just turns it into a bit of a sort of a valve amp, you know what I mean? Which is cool, which means, because valve amps are heavy things, you know what I mean? No, it's not a valve amp, but it gives it pretty close, do you know what I mean? It's not bad, you know? I like it. It gives you sort of a tone, you know?